Hello folks, my name is Russ. I live in Northwest Ohio. I have for sale a CNC machine from buildyourcnc.com. It's complete with the stand, the table stand, the torsion box, and of course the machine. I am relocating to North Dakota to drive a truck in the oil fields, so I'm going to need to pack my life up into a storage unit for some years, and I don't really want to transport the machine. The table torsion box is pretty heavy. The machine itself really pretty much entails these parts here plus the gantry, so the machine itself is not that heavy, but the table itself is. Now I believe on the internet they're selling these machines. It's the 4x8 Blackfoot, if I didn't mention that before, somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,700 with different upgrades. I think the torsion box for different things, different upgrades, different configurations is somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple $1,000s. Plus you have to put it all together when it comes to you. So now this machine is obviously a little bit disassembled. The reason for that is the machine is just about 4 years old, somewhere around in there. I wanted to do some of the upgrades to the machine that they came out with since mine had been built. And so I took the machine apart, was going to add some LED things to it, but it just never got completed, obviously. So here we are. We've got the gantry is up here. The head, the main business here, is here. You got the motor that controls back and forth. Then you have the motor on the gantry here that controls up and down. You got a shot back tube that goes in here. I'm just going to throw that in. It doesn't normally come with it, but that's how you suck your chips away. You can see here your router motor goes in here. It does not include a router motor. I'm going to go ahead and keep mine. But this is for a smaller version. And I have some parts we'll show you here in a minute that allows you to put the larger version in. These are the cables that hook the gantry to the breakout board. Also includes a computer, as I showed you and told you about before on the site. I went ahead and fired it up, showed you that the screen is fired up and the computer does work. Has a USB keyboard and a USB mouse, which is here. And the DVD player does not work, DVD recorder does not work on the computer. So I bought an external USB. It's a Lydian. There was a price tag on it of $50. I'm going to throw that in too, just so I don't have any use for it outside of this computer, and the computer's not much good to you if you can't load software into it. So it also does not come with the software that you need. So you will have to buy a router motor and a software, and the software from the site, I think each program is $150, so you got $300 in software you got to buy. Here's the breakout board. The serial cable connects the breakout board here to the computer. These are the motors, control motors that control each of the motors, and then you got your 12-volt supply. Here are the aluminum tracks. They install on the edge of the gantry, or I'm sorry, the edge of the table here. You can see the holes here. I also want to mention while I'm here, maybe I can zero in. You see, like on the edge right here, it's just a little bit marred up just because of moving it back and forth here and there. But one of these aluminum rails goes on the top and one goes on the bottom of this edge on both sides. It bolts right through. So that'll just smash right back down. It's not a problem. You know, if it's only brad nailed to the top of the torsion box, so if you wanted to take a hammer and knock the top of that torsion box off, you could do that if you wanted to start all over with brand new MDF. I would not do that. It's fine the way it is, but if that's what you want to do, you could do it. And then there's some other extensions here that makes it so that the aluminum will run fully from one end of the table to the other, and that allows you to be able to let the gantry run from one end of the table to the other. These parts here are extra parts. Some of them are extra parts, some of them go on the gantry. There wasn't really too much upgrade here. These are just chain mounts. They go on top of the gantry. I can show you that on when we get around to the other side. And this is another piece. This is the piece that the router motor sits in and sucks the chips out of. That other piece has a little bit of damage. You can see it when you continue to start assembling it back together. You could change that one out if you wanted to. That was always my plan. Then you have the larger router mounts here if you wanted to go with the Porter cable. That's the one I prefer. But again, it doesn't come with it, but you have the ability to choose either one. One of the upgrades that Build Your CNC made was change to 1/2 inch rods from smaller ones. I don't remember what the smaller ones were. They go in here in the gantry from this motor through the side of the gantry. And they come out on the outside, and then they hook up to those two sprockets that are there, and there'll be another sprocket that comes out the top. These are all the hardware to mount that. It connects, there it is, there's all the hardware to connect the 1/2 inch rods to the motor. Your bearings are all in there for the bigger rod. What they ran into was when you would tighten the chain on the outside, it would bow the smaller piece of steel in there. And they sold inserts that went in there here and here, but I didn't like that idea. I wanted it done right. Anytime that anything on the machine flexes, it's going to throw things off. So these are here, all wrapped in plastic, no rust. So it's all ready to be put together. Obviously, I tore the machine apart to do this. I had it together for projects. I was going to upgrade it, put it back together, reuse it some more. I just never got to it. These are the 3 chains. You have 2 long ones that will run the full length of the table on both sides. Then you have a smaller one. That one's going to go on the top of the gantry up there to allow the power head up there to go back and forth. Another thing you have here is all the hardware. This is all the hardware. It's that's what goes back to put the gantry back together. All that hardware is here. It's all been treated with a silicone gel, so these chains are in great shape. They're rather expensive, so I've taken good care of them to put them into plastic bags and make sure that they're gel coated. So they're in perfect shape. They're not stretched out. They're in perfect shape. I also coated all of these parts so they just wouldn't rust. I didn't know. First I thought I was going to put it in storage, and I thought I'd just go ahead and sell it. So anyway, this is another upgrade they made. This is the new back. It used to be a 2-piece back, this is the old one right here. And then after I got the machine, and before they did the 1-piece back, I wanted to do some things with LED, so I ordered these pieces. You can see they have the Blackfoot logo routed into the 2 pieces. I was going to do some LED things, like I said, never got to that. I went ahead and then ordered this piece, which is the 1-piece back. And it gives the machine a lot more stability. You could use either one, doesn't matter if you wanted to use the 2-piece. I'm going to include all this because it's here. It does me no good without it. That'll give you the option to do what you want to do with it. Now they also moved this piece here is a 1-piece front. So I ordered that from them too. And we'll go to the gantry here and show you what happens with that. Now the piece I just showed you is this piece right here. And you can see there is a gap there, and then it continues on across. You can take that out. You have to remove off these the aluminum tracks that go back and forth. That's the guideways for the power head. You can leave it like that, or you can make it 1-piece. I was going to make it 1-piece just because, again, it makes the machine stronger. All of your rollers, everything's already calibrated, put on here. Here's your adjustment screw to do some tightening with the chain. There's also other things you can do with tightening of the chain. I'm sorry, this screw here tightens the gantry to the aluminum tracks that are going to run on this side of the table. Torsion box is in 2 pieces. Makes it easier to carry and ship because believe me, this thing is heavy. You don't want it in 1 piece. I don't know what else I can tell you here. We got these pieces on the end. The only reason that these pieces are here, they're the same exact pieces as these, except for they started putting the Blackfoot logo, which I wanted to do some LED things like I've mentioned several times. So I went ahead and ordered these 2 pieces. This one has it on the other side there. You would not have to replace these out if you didn't want to, but they would go, they're exactly this piece right here, just with the Blackfoot routed into it. So you could or could not. I would say one thing that does make these different, now that I'm remembering, you can see this hole right here is where those old smaller pieces of steel came out for the bearings. These pieces have a larger hole drilled to accept the bigger bearings. So if you're good at drilling, it would be just as easy to drill this bigger hole into those old sides. But if it was me, I'd go ahead and install these just because it's the latest what they do. Okay, I think I have run through I do have one more thing. These are the waste boards that go on the top of the torsion box. This is, I don't know, probably about halfway used. The important part to it, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but down in the crack here, there are, I can't remember what they call them, star nuts or something to that effect. But anyway, when you put this on the top of your gantry, you see these holes are drilled every so often. And then those, they call them T-nuts. The T-nuts are mounted on the back side of each one of those. Then this board right here, it mounts to the top of the torsion box. And those holes are all here too. And then you will put your waste board on top of the torsion box and be able to clamp things down anywhere you want to put it in the 4x8 area. You could go ahead and just clamp it down anywhere with that. Now that was something that I wish I had done differently. What I would probably do, you see these 2 boards are together. What it is there's holes in the board underneath. So when you take and put your bolts, through there to clamp your work down, there's room underneath this board for the bolts to go. Now what I wish I'd have done was I wish I would have taken the T-nuts on the back and put them in the underneath side of this board, because right now the way I have it, every time I need to replace this waste board, I have to take the T-nuts out and start over. Where if I would have installed them in this board, which was another one of my upgrades I was going to make while the machine was disassembled, I was going to mount them on this board. Then all I have to do is take the waste board off, put a new one on, cut it level, and then run the whole program to cut all these holes symmetrically in there, and away you go. So I will send these 2 boards with you so you understand, or with the machine so you understand what the concept is, what it's trying to do. I do have an extra couple of pieces of particle board, as you can see here, but that's going to do nothing but increase the weight of this thing, and I am probably not going to send those along. So anyway, I have the machine initially $2,500. It's probably, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of a $5,000 to $5,500 value with your computer some of the extras, the upgrades, those type of things. It's going to be just exactly how you get it off the web. It does not come with paperwork because buildyourcnc.com has all of the instructions and videos on the web. So I would suggest that when you get the machine, you just watch the videos from top to bottom and then alleviate the steps that have already been done for you by me, and then obviously do the steps that need to be done. So you definitely have, you know, still a project on your hands. It's not a wholly finished. But I will say, even if you're a do-it-yourselfer, the torsion box is just boring to do. It's a pain in the butt. That to me is where the value is in this, because you can just start, you have the hardest part of it done. You get to the fun part and do the machine, and then you just put the rails on and away you go. So it does not come, like I said, it does not come with a motor, a router motor. You have to buy that. They're probably in the neighborhood, I think I've seen them online for about $200 for the 3 1/4 horse, I think. 3 1/4 horsepower. I want to say it's Porter cable and variable speed. I like that. There's other ones you can get for cheaper, but somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 you ought to be able to get one home. I can't think of anything else to tell you. Check out the website for more details, buildyourcnc.com. My telephone number's on there. You can text me, you can email me, whichever you prefer. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will ship it. I've been talking about that. I had the machine for $2,500. I'm going to go ahead and sell it for the same $2,500, and I will ship it to you. I had several bites on the machine before when I had it on there. Very interested people, but they were from Florida, California, all over, and they did not want to come see, or they did not want to come see the machine and pick it up. So I decided to go with a video so you can see what's here, and I will include in the $2,500 of shipping. You will need to have it be able to be delivered to a business. So they're going to be able to bring it to the back. I'll have it all on like a 5 by 10 skid, and they'll take a pallet jack and move it to the back of the truck, and you'll have to have a forklift to get it off of the back of the semi truck, and you know, place it in your pickup or trailer or whatever, however you're going to transport it home. Of course, once you get it home, you don't need a forklift. You can cut the plastic and everything off of it that's going to protect it. I'll wrap it up really nice. It's going to be on a skid. It'll, you know, have some structure around it so that it can be stacked on and won't be damaged. And I will put plenty of plastic on it, so if it gets rained on, nothing will get harmed. And I'm hoping that you'll get as much enjoyment out of it as I have. Thank you. Bye.